In today's video, I'm going to go through my thought process of why I chose BIDU for a trade on the buy side in Friday's session. Okay. First, if you look at this 60-minute chart, you're looking at a nice bullish pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Okay. So basically, as long as that pattern remains intact, I want to look at the buy side on a pullback. So what I essentially did was take these prior declines and then project them from the most recent high and then run all possible retracements. One of the most important would be the prior low to high swing, and then there were some other retracements that I ran from some of the larger swings. Okay, now this had the background of support with the weekly chart that I've been looking at in BIDU. Okay, now with BIDU we had time and price at that last major low in December. One of the things that stood out was that we had a 16-week trading decline that totally matched up with the next decline of 16 weeks. It also matched up with some key price analysis as far as support and the fact that we had met extensions on the downside, and in this case it would be the extension of this prior low to high swing extended downwards. And just note that extensions are where many moves tend to terminate, if only temporarily. So if this is going to be a counter trend rally similar to some of the prior rally swings in BIDU, you can look at these prior ones and see what you might expect. Here we had $51.82. This was $46.73, $43.46. This was $35. And so far we've seen just about a $17 rally off of that area. So I believe we still have some upside potential. So that's another reason why I was looking at BIDU on the 60-minute chart that way. Okay, so what do you do once you set this up? You have to go down to a lower time frame chart to trigger an entry against it, because otherwise how would you know what area in this zone that you should enter against? Okay, we had a wide zone anywhere between 10023 to 10279. Okay, so what makes the higher end of this area more important? Well, I actually use a trigger to tell me that it's worth placing a bet against the zone. Okay, so now I'm taking it down to a 3-minute chart. This is where you can see that you had a nice bearish pattern into that support decision, and when it started to shift from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows, that's when you know it's worth placing a bet against the zone. Okay, so what I like to see for a trigger, I want to see it take out a prior swing high, and that needs to be confirmed by the moving average crossover, the 8 over the 34. So this is on a 3-minute chart. Here's where you had the crossover. You had already taken out a prior swing high. At this point, you could look at the buy side in BIDU and place your stop underneath the recent low at 102.52. Okay, and let's say you don't get in on the initial trigger, where it had the crossover, and you already had taken out a prior swing high. You can look at the next pullback after the initial trigger. And if you're going to look at the next pullback, I typically watch for anywhere between 50% to 7/8 of the prior swing. Okay, so that would be, here's the 50% at 103.25. Here's the 7/8, 102.83. So anywhere in there, if we saw a pullback, you can look at an entry and then again place the stop underneath the low at 102.52.